Hello, I'm EZZATI. We are here to talk about stories and repair in conversation analysis. Let's begin our little adventure and let's meet our group members.
Hello everyone, I'm Asilah.
Hello everyone, I'm Yaya.
Hey there, I'm Wadi. First of all, what is conversation analysis? It is essentially a study of how language is employed in social interaction rather than just developing linguistic theory. This field was developed by ethnomethodologists including Garfinkel, Sachs, Sechkolf, and Jefferson.
Now, let's move on to stories in conversation analysis. Florida explains that stories are an important example of longer terms in conversation, where someone speaks for more than just a short line. He also notes that stories do not happen in isolation. Their meaning depends on the interactional context. This means a story is always connected to the conversation that is already happening and is part of its flow.
Next is the interactional context of stories. The first interactional context, according to Floridiu, is firstly stories require speakers to create a space in the ongoing conversation. It means that a story does not start suddenly. The speaker needs to prepare the moment so that the story fits into the ongoing talk. Secondly, according to Floridiu, listeners must show that they understand the ongoing talk while the story is being told. This means that the listeners help the story continue by giving small responses like yeah, or oh, to show that they are listening and by not taking over the speaker's turn. Last but not least, Floridiu states that the listeners must also show that they recognize the end of the story. This means that the listener responds in a way that shows that they understand the story is finished and that the conversation can move on to the next part. Now, this is a casual conversation before the story begins between J and L. The conversation begins with normal talk. L asks J, "Are you not feeling very well?" And J answers that she is fine. Now, let's get into the three-part structure of how the story actually begins. After the small talk ends, the first part of the structure is the story preface. In the example, L says, "You know I'm worrying about something." This is the story preface, a moment where the speaker signals that the story is coming and prepares the listener for a longer turn. The second structure is recipient request to hear. Once the speaker signals that the story is coming, J immediately responds with, "What?" This shows interest and gives permission for the story to begin. And the last structure is the story beginning. In the example, after the listener shows interest to hear the story, L starts the actual story with the line, "Well, that's Hill at the vicarage," which is the actual start of the story event. And J replies with, "Oh yes," showing that she recognizes the situation, which helps the story move smoothly.
Now moving on to listener continuous. Listener continuous are short responses that show someone is listening without taking the full turn. For examples from the transcript by Floridiu 2013 include "Oh yes," "Oh did you?" "Yes," and "No." These small responses encourage the speaker to continue the story and show active engagement. And now this part highlights non-verbal acknowledgements such as laughter, breath, and overlapping reactions. Examples include laughter in line 19 and exclamation in lines 36 to 37 and overlap in lines 39 to 41. And these sounds show emotional involvement and help create a natural, lively storytelling environment. And now we'll move on to the third key story features in conversation analysis, that is transition relevant points or TRPs. These are moments where another speaker will take over the turn. Even though the story has several TRPs, listener J does not take the full turn. Instead, J uses continuous to encourage L to keep going by showing supportive listening. Now, we will moving on to the story ending. So, at the end of the story, J finally gives a longer reaction. "Oh, honestly, I cannot stand the man." This comment shows that she understands the story is complete and offers her evaluation. L then adds one final remark in line 52, closing the storytelling sequence.
Hello guys, for my part, let's dive in together to another important part of conversation analysis, which is repair. First of all, you guys might be wondering what is repair, right? And of course, in the conversation, it is not like repairing phones, repairing cars, and whatsoever. But in the conversation, I could simply say that repair refers to a moment when someone pauses or stops talking to fix a problem in the conversation. And there are three situations the problems happens, which is the first one, when the speaker says something is unclear. The second one, the listener misses something. And the last one, when someone does not understand the message, what they are talking about. Next, why is repair such a big deal in conversations? Well, Imagine if every small mistake led to a total communication disaster. That would be a chaos, right? Repair actually plays a superhero role in a communication. First, it prevents confusion. Instead of awkward silence or misunderstandings, repair jumps in and saves the conversation from breaking down. And lastly, repair improves clarity, which means the conversation becomes easier to follow, smoother, and way more effective. So, in short, repair is like a reset button in conversations. Whenever things start getting messy, repair helps us get back on track.
The first type is self-initiated, self-completed repair. This means the speaker identifies the cause of the trouble and resolves it. In simple terms, you notice the problem and you fix it by yourself. Let's look at the examples. First, Olive is trying to recall a name. Olive said, Mary, what was it? Thompson. Here, Olive forgets Mary's surname. She initiates the struggle, what was it? And then she herself provides the answer. It is an internal fix. We also have the other example involving Anne and Ken. Anne said, on the east of the carpet there, oh no. Then Ken asked, what happened? Anne replied, on the east of the sofa there is a coffee table. Here, Anne initiates the error, oh no, and although Ken asks for clarification, Anne ultimately completes the repair by correcting the location from carpet to sofa. Now, the next is self-initiated other completed repair. This happens when the speaker starts the process, but the recipient resolves it. This means you initiate the problem, but the other person provides the necessary solution. Here is the first example, where A having trouble recalling a name. A said, he had this Mr. Whatever, I can't think of his first name. What's on? The one that wrote that piece. Then B said, then what? Here, A initiates the problem. I can't think of his first name, but B quickly provides the correct answer, which is then what? The second example involves a student asking about a common error. Student asks, why? Why do many people say I had? Does I had mean I hate? Then the teacher replied, it's hate. Nah, this is I had. Here, the student initiates the problem by asking the question, and the teacher completes the repair by correcting the student's assumption and confirming the correct usage.
Now let's move on to other initiated self-completed repair. According to Flowerdew 2013, the recipient of the trouble identifies it and resolves it himself or herself. So basically this happens when the listener identifies a problem but the speaker themselves completes the repair. Basically, in simpler words, the listener signals that something sounds wrong but they do not provide the correction. Instead, the original speaker fixes their own mistake. Now, let's take a look at other initiated self-completed repairs example. First one, the example given by Flowerdew 2015. In a conversation, A says, hey, the first time they stopped me from selling cigarettes was this morning. And B responds, from selling cigarettes? So here B points out the problem, which is selling cigarettes, and then A corrects it by saying from buying cigarettes instead. So the speaker corrects their own mistake rather than letting the listener correct it for them. For further understanding, let's take a look at another example for other initiated self-completed repair. James says, I'll meet you at school tomorrow then. Derek replies, tomorrow? Then James realizes the mistake and corrects himself. Right. Tomorrow is weekend, I mean next week. So overall, in this repair type, the listener notices the mistake, but the speaker is the one who fixes it. Now, the last type of repair is other initiated, other completed. Definition given by Flowerdew 2013, the recipient of the trouble identifies it and the speaker resolves it. So this is different because the listener not only notices the problem, but they also provide the correction themselves. Now let's take a look at example for other initiated, other completed repair. For instance, Joy says, Gary's no good, she's having a fight with Sally. Harry responds, you mean Sarah, don't you? Those two are always fighting. Basically, in this case, Harry both identifies and supplies the correction, which is Sally and Sarah. For your better understanding, this is another example for other initiated, other completed repair. Lily says, I cannot believe you are in the oldest city. And Daphne corrects her because we are not. That is in Iraq, we are in Greece. So here, the listener directly provides the accurate information. And in this type of repair, the listener identifies the trouble and completes the correction themselves.
Alright guys, so what did we learn today? Basically, conversation analysis shows that stories and repair are essential for clear and effective communication. This is the references we use throughout our video.
Thank you for watching. Bye.